Welcome to your Thursday afternoon therapeutic yoga practice. Greetings, Nan. Good to see you today. Glad that you're joining us. Welcome. So we can find ourselves comfortably seated, inviting some props underneath the knees, under the pelvis, however it makes sense to you. Greetings. Welcome. So if you happen to have pillows or props, please feel free to fill the space underneath your knees. Make sure that you're seated comfortably. And we'll bring our left hand to our heart and our right hand to our belly. And use this gesture as a way of shifting gears and tuning in together. Quieting the mind to the sound and sensation of the breath. Bringing our palms together in Anjali Mudra, we'll rest our chin towards our chest and take a deep breath into the back of the neck, the tops of the shoulders. Arriving here in our practice together with a shared intention of integrating body, mind, and breath. Let's interlace our fingers and press the palms away from the body. We can start by pressing them forward. Find our wrists, our knuckles, our forearms, and we can slowly begin to stretch the arms away from the body and upward. And just let those armpits open, let the shoulders move, let the rib cage float upward. And with your next few breaths, invite the leg bones to drop even more heavily. Allow the pelvis to get even softer, even more relaxed in the belly, even more relaxed in the shoulders. Breathing deeply here, rolling the thumbs forward and the pinkies back. On an exhale, the right fingertips fall to the floor. We'll stretch the left arm up and over, and we'll take a few breaths, shifting our attention towards the left side of the body. Breathing into the left lung, the left rib cage, the left sit bone, dropping the left knee heavy. Gently turning the head from side to side. Let's circle that top arm across even further, and then in front of the face as it drops downward, we'll take a few big circles with that left arm. Inhaling as we reach open and up, exhaling as we drop the arm down and across. Exhaling, we're going to relax as we kind of push off the right hand and move back through center. Let the left hand fall towards the left side of your body and take a big breath now. Right arm stretching up and over. Breathing into that right lung, right rib cage. Allowing the right sit bone to drop, the right knee to remain heavy. Once again, it might feel nice to circle the arm, inhaling as you reach the arm out and up, exhaling as you reach the arm across and down. Taking a moment to check in with the neck. This time we're going to press off of the left hand, taking both arms overhead. Take any bind that works for you in your hands. Keep the elbows lifted and bend them. Let the hands fall behind the head. Keep the elbows lifted. So we're drawing the upper arm bones towards the ears, and the hands are touching and falling behind the head. However that makes sense to you. Relax the shoulders. Gently turn the gaze from side to side. Check in with the neck. Coming back to neutral in the neck, relax the shoulders a little bit more. On an in-breath, stretch the arms overhead, fingertips towards the sky. And exhale, we're going to wrap the right elbow under the left. We're going to focus on the action of the elbows here. The hands might not be touching. They're just kind of moving away from the face so that we're creating a right angle between the upper arm bones and the lower arm bones. And again, we can turn the head from side to side, focusing on squeezing the elbows together and observing the sensations in the shoulders. The elbows are lifted to shoulder height. Relax the neck, gentle movement in the head and neck, turning the chin from side to side. Think about lifting from the back of the heart here, keeping the rib cage floating upward. Neutral in the neck. Inhale, sweep the arms open. Establish your wingspan. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Stretch your palms away. Flutter your feather tips. Extend even further from fingertip to fingertip and keep drawing the shoulder blades together. Relax the face, the forehead. Relax the pelvis, the groins. Let the leg bones stay heavy. Take another breath here. Imagine that you have your buddy's hand giving you a little lift from behind your heart. On an exhale, wrapping the left elbow under the right. I know we're feeling some fatigue in the shoulders. That's part of my plan. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Squeeze the elbows together. We can feel the shoulder blades separate here. The hands still away from the face. Maybe they're touching, maybe they're not, doesn't matter. It's all about the elbows. Action in the elbows. Squeezing the elbows and feeling sensations in the shoulders, breathing into the space between the shoulder blades. Let's hold this position for the elbows and slowly twist at the waistline. Inhaling it, and as you move through center, exhaling as you twist. Elbows high. Shoulders feeling some fatigue. Let that fatigue invite them away from the ears. Drop the shoulders, but keep the elbows lifted. Just another breath or two here. And coming back around, inhaling back to center and sweeping the arms all the way out and up one more time. Big stretch overhead. Interlace the fingers, stretch through the palms, look up. Open armpits, heart high. Bring the neck to neutral. Draw the shoulders in and down. Take another breath or two here, experiencing the stretch through the tricep muscles as you stretch through the arms, press through the palms, rolling the thumbs forward and the pinkies back. Go ahead and bring the hands behind the head. Take a deep breath in, open the elbows wide. Exhale, curl it inward, elbows together, rounding the spine, chin to chest. A few more breaths, just gently rocking and rolling. Inhale to open up. Exhale to curl in. Exhaling to round it out, curl it in, push the breath out. Take another big breath into the back side of the body. Exhale to release the arms into your lap. Rolling up slowly through the spine. Keep the chin resting towards the notch at the base of the throat. With heavy elbows, heavy wrists, and heavy shoulders, begin to roll the head slowly from side to side. Deep oceanic breathing, relaxed in the shoulders. Heavy head. Allowing the right ear to rest towards the right shoulder. Consider taking the left arm away from the body, fingertips reaching towards the floor to your side. You might even like to bend the left elbow and rest the hand behind the low back. You might even like to place the right hand across the top of the head to gently encourage even more space on the left side of the neck. Breathing deeply here, working with whatever variation of access to the left side of the neck that feels right to you. Heavy right ear. Releasing slowly and allowing the head to rest at center, perhaps, if that feels like the right thing to do. Maybe you feel like rolling the head from side to side a few times, back and forth until you're ready to rest the left ear towards the left shoulder. Left ear dropping. Right arm perhaps reaching away from the body or resting behind the back. Maybe the left hand rests across the top of the head. Whatever variation makes sense to you in your body on this side. Honoring the neck. Breathing deeply here. Taking your time, and when it feels complete for you, releasing and resting the chin towards the chest. Maybe it feels good to interlace hands behind the back now and invite some neutrality in the neck as we draw shoulder blades together. And direct our breath into the back of the neck, the space between the shoulder blades. Deep oceanic breathing here. Releasing the arm bones and resting the arms heavily in the legs. Moving the head and neck a little bit more until you're feeling ready to find neutral. Eventually, the crown of the head rising atop the spine. Pausing here for a moment or two, just observing how it feels to be in your body in this moment. Making your way towards some cat-cows. Maybe you'd prefer to stay seated with your hands on your knees to give your wrists a break. Maybe you're ready to get up onto hands and knees, allowing for whatever variation of cat-cow feels groovy to you in your body in this moment. Inhaling, the heart space moves forward. Exhaling, the heart space pulls back. Continue to move naturally from crown to tail, rocking and rolling. Focusing on the fullness of not only the inhale, but the exhale as well. And allow for any variations of movement that come naturally to you here. Maybe you're ready to explore some other trajectories and planes of movement, shifting into the side bodies, into some rotational movements, whatever feels right to you. Breathing deeply here. Taking your attention inward, closing your eyes, relaxing your forehead, inviting your inner gaze to rest at the heart space. as it begins to lead your movement, guiding you around in this exploration of the spine. The heart leads the way. Eventually, allow that heart space to lead you upward toward a camel pose. Maybe you prefer to stay seated and simply place your hands under your hips, sitting on your palms and taking a seated camel. Ustrasana. Maybe you're comfortable coming up onto your knees, using your hands behind the pelvis or even on blocks on either side of your legs as a point of leverage from which to lift the heart. Lifting from the sternum, relaxing the shoulders, breathing deeply here. Tailbone dropping, activating down into the earth through the legs. Notice your feet. How are you engaging your legs and your feet? Taking a few more breaths, honoring the neck. The chin rests at the notch at the base of the throat. The heart space lifts, and the neck stays spacious and at ease. Whenever it feels complete for you, coming back up and over on an in-breath and into a downward facing dog on an out-breath. Feel free to stay off of your hands and keep it on your knees in a puppy pose if you prefer. Downward facing dog, stretching into fingers and feet, or possibly just resting on your knees and taking a block to collect your forehead and extending your arms forward with your toes tucked. Stretching it out here, working to lengthen the spine, to open the shoulders, activating in the fingers and the feet. Taking a few more breaths here. Head is heavy, dropping the skull. Turning the head gently from side to side, and when it feels complete for you, tiptoe towards your hands, articulate through your feet, work with your toes, the balls of your feet, see what it feels like to really work with your feet as you come forward, and then land with your knees bent, giving yourself a hug. Breathing deeply with the belly resting over your thighs, your knees are bent, your feet are separated toward the maybe not the side edges of your mat completely, but nice, comfortable hip distance, at least stance. Get grounded. Give yourself a hug with your arms, or even consider interlacing fingers behind the back and letting the arm bones fall away with gravity. Maybe there's some other variation in your arms that makes sense to you, grabbing opposite elbows. All the while, we're active in our feet, spreading our toes, activating into the earth. And when it feels right to you, press the fingers against the legs and lengthen the spine in a flat back position. Exhale to release back down. Inhale, pressing away, the big toes root down, the heart pulls forward. Exhale, releasing back down. Inhale, pressing away. The knees are probably still soft here. Pressing away with our arms. Exhale, releasing. One more time. Inhaling, pressing away. the gaze to the mat, right straight down so that the back of the neck is open. Exhale to release down. We're going to roll up slowly. Big toes pressing, knees are bending, spine articulating. Gradually coming to stand, arms extending overhead. Breathing deeply as we find Utthita Tadasana, rooting down through the leg bones, reaching up through the fingers, open armpits, pelvis relaxed, tailbone dropping. Let's swan dive forward now, exhaling, giving yourself a hug again, wrapping the arms around the leg. Inhale, find your flat back position. Exhale, releasing down again. Inhale, rolling up. Arms sweeping out and up. And exhaling, swan diving forward. Inhaling, pressing away, flat back position. Exhale, releasing back down. Inhale, rolling up to stand, arms sweeping out and up. Last time, exhale, swan diving forward. Give yourself a hug. Inhale, press away. Exhale, release it down. Inhale, roll it up. Arms sweeping out and up, reaching to the stars. Tailbone dropping, standing crescent now. So the left hand grabs the right wrist and we reach up and over, stretching open through the left side body. We're tugging the left wrist overhead with our right hand. We might bend our knees. We might shift the pelvis subtly towards the left. We're pushing into the earth with the left foot and we're reaching up and over towards the right. Inhale to come up and over and take it to the other side now. Push into the other foot and reach up and away. Check in with the shoulders, relax the shoulders. Use that left hand to gently traction out that right arm overhead. Checking in with the neck, breathing into that right side body, active feet. Inhaling, coming all the way back up. Exhaling, palms to the heart space. Taking a moment to just rest your gaze at your fingertips and pause to observe the sensations in the body. Let's go through just a few simple standing poses now before we make our way onto our backs for more stretching and restoration. We're going to open our feet up into a wide stance for goddess. Our toes open up in alignment with our knees. So wherever the knees want to bend, that's the direction the toes are going to adjust. And the feet are a nice open stance, probably outside of our shoulder width. The elbows are up at shoulder height in cactus arms, and we're pushing into the earth with our feet to lower the pelvis. Let's lengthen the arms and the legs on an in-breath and bend the knees on an out-breath. And just kind of get the legs warmed up a little bit here. Moving with the breath. Active in your feet, working with a strong connection to the earth for support here. Keep pushing downward into the earth with your feet. We're going to come down and hold this goddess pose now for another breath or two. Consider lifting your toes up off the floor. Push into the balls and the heels, but try to relax your gluteus muscles, your big haunches that want to get in on it. Push down into your balls of your feet and think about using your inner thighs. We're going to reach into the earth with our feet, toes pressing down now, arms stretching out, legs lengthening, hands to the hips. We're going to rotate around towards the right. So the right toes become our front foot, and we allow the left foot to toe heel and pivot around so that we ultimately are facing the right toes. The left hip is melting forward. The left heel is dropping down on an angle. And we're going to take a few more breaths, inviting even more neutrality in the pelvis. Maybe that means adjusting the position of your left foot further to the left so that the pelvis actually can have a more access to this left hip. Stretching out through the arms, out through the fingers, and down into the earth with your feet. Breathing deeply here in Warrior One. You might enjoy interlacing hands behind the back, finding Kali Mudra and inviting the shoulder blades to melt downward. Inhaling, arms sweeping up, and exhaling, arms reaching open as we find our Warrior Two position. So we're going to open the left toes, open the left shoulder, open the left hip. Reaching with the arms extending, again, out through our fingertips, out through our feather tips. Our shoulder blades are pulling down and back. Stretching through the arms, pushing into the earth. We're going to reverse the warrior. Right arm reaches to the sky. Left hand reaches towards the back leg. Use the left hand against your back leg now as a point of leverage from which to lift the heart a little higher. Keep reaching up as you lengthen the right leg. Take a big breath here. Lengthened in the right leg, lengthened in the left leg. We might choose to close our stance. It might feel like our feet are too far apart. Now with two straight legs, we're going to shift to our triangle pose. Trikonasana. Extended from crown to tail, from fingertip to fingertip. We're allowing the pelvis to shift. The right hip crease swings away from the right toes. Check in with the neck. Keep stretching even further from fingertip to fingertip, pressing even more strongly into the earth with your feet, allowing the hips to soften and swing away from the right toes. Bending the right knee. Keep reaching with the arms and pushing into your feet, reversing the warrior slowly. Go ahead and open now to 5-pointed star, turning the toes so that the feet become parallel to one another again. Big open stance. Here, the toes are forward, the heels are back. The arms are open. In 5-pointed star, we're dropping the tailbone and neutralizing the spine, extending out through the arms, extending into the earth through the legs, and lifting up through the crown of the head. Taking a few focused breaths here, rooting into the earth and inviting her energy to rise up through you, extending up through the crown of the head, receiving the energy of the sun and the energy of the web of life around you. Taking one more big breath here, tapping in, sending your own heart's light outward. Bring your hands to your hips. Relax the shoulders. Invite a rotation towards your left toes now, bringing yourself to warrior one, facing the left toes, so that you will be inviting that right hip to come forward. The right toes coming around towards the front right corner of your mat. Lots of sensation across the front of that right hip. Stretch into the earth with your feet. Stretch out through your arms and your fingertips. Keep softening in the hips, letting the tailbone drop and breathing across the front of that right hip. Breathing deeply here. Let the heart space keep lifting you upward as we stay tethered, grounded, down through the legs. Maybe it feels good to interlace the hands behind the back for a few breaths. Really drop those shoulder blades down the back. Let's try transitioning to warrior two from here. So squeeze the shoulder blades and let the shoulder blades and the back muscles lift the arms. As you open to warrior two, arms rise up. Back muscles engaged. Breathing deeply, we're looking past our left fingers. Left knee stacked over the left ankle. We're reversing the warrior now. Left arm to the sky, front arm high. Taking an extra breath or two, reaching a little further, resting the right hand against the back of that right leg as a point of leverage from which to lift. The left leg lengthens. We adjust the position of the feet, perhaps closing our stance. And when we're feeling confident, action down into the earth, action up through the leg bones, we can shift in the pelvis and float our spine over the left leg. Trikonasana, triangle. The left hip crease pulls back away from the left toes. So we're letting the pelvis swing, allowing the spine to extend, relaxed in the pelvis, active in the feet, open across the chest, the shoulders, the heart, the fingers reaching. Taking a few more breaths here in Trikonasana. Maybe we turn our gaze from hand to hand. And inhaling, pressing into the earth, left knee bending, arms stretching out. We'll reverse the warrior again. Give that left side body a big stretch. Left arm to the sky, left knee bending. And we're going to come back to our goddess pose. So shifting once again into an open stance. Toes are opening in line with the knees as they bend, pushing into the earth. Align your ankles under your knees. Activate in your feet. Elbows at shoulder height, palms wide open. You're stronger than you think. Dig a little deeper into Mother Earth for strength. You've got this. Beautiful. Push a little harder into the earth as you lengthen the legs and the arms. Rotate the toes forward. The hands come to the hips. We're going to shift to a forward fold. Reach down to the outside edges of your feet. Find that action in your feet and let the torso hinge forward. Take any variation of a forward fold that works for you. Maybe the knees are going to bend here, of course. Maybe the hands are going to be on blocks. Maybe you're going to feel like placing hands towards your ankles or your toes. Maybe you're going to want to place a block under your skull. Feel free to take any variation of a straddle forward fold here that makes sense to you and your body. Breathing deeply here. Please feel free to stay in a more a simple exploration, maybe with stillness, but maybe you're going to feel like moving, in which case you can start to bend one knee and then bend the other knee and just see where that takes you. So feel free to, again, remain exactly where you are. Continue to explore something through a stable and supported pose in stillness, or maybe allow for some more movement, bending one knee and then the other, possibly allowing for other variations that come naturally. We can play a little bit here, and eventually we can all meet up in a child pose. So your invitation here is to play Twister. Just let yourself go. Play on your mat any way that comes naturally for your body. Maybe you'll end up landing in a down dog. Maybe some other pose will feel neutralizing for you. And ultimately, allow yourself to naturally transition toward a supported child pose. So, of course, some cushioning for the knees, some cushioning under the heart, some cushioning under the skull. Dropping into a state of surrender when that happens naturally for you. And breathing ever more deeply into the backside of the body here. Resting the weight of the skull. Resting the weight of the arm bones. Resting the weight of the pelvis. Noticing where the breath is moving in the body. Allowing it to shift into the space at the back of the pelvis, the back of the lungs, the back of the cranium. Breathing deeply into the back side of the body. Taking a giant breath in through the nose and a massive exhale through the mouth. Feel free to repeat that once or twice more, gently rocking your forehead and inviting subtle movement in the body as you clear the lungs repeatedly and completely. Greetings, Nona. And we're going to take our time here, transitioning when it feels natural to you from your child pose onto your back, where we can shift into a pose with a propped pelvis and an opportunity to invert. So laying onto your back now, as it feels natural and organic for you, and using a prop under the pelvis. So a block or a folded blanket, rolled up towel, pillow, anything will do. Does not need to be a big prop. Could just be a little bit of a lift. But it's nice to have a little extra cushioning under the pelvis here, resting the weight of the pelvis heavily upon that support, and then inviting the legs to float up when that happens naturally for you. Just staying present as you breathe into the space of the pelvic bowl, observing the sensations that you're feeling as it rests upon its support. So the legs can be soft here, the knees and the ankles are soft. And we're allowing for a little extra attention now to make its way to the neck and the shoulders. A little check-in. Maybe the fingers walk a little further down towards the tailbone or beyond the tailbone. We keep those shoulders away from the ears. We have a sense of space around the neck and the heart. Our breath is full and at ease. And now we'll bring our attention back to the pelvic bowl and invite the tailbone to fall a little more heavily. Relax the weight of the pelvis even more heavily upon your prop. Maybe that means moving your knees steadily away from your face. Just even a half an inch might make a big difference in the sensations. Just play, be curious here in the position of the legs. Play with very subtle adjustments and see if you find anything interesting there. You might like to shake the legs around. You might like stillness. You might like to let the leg bones fall open and explore the benefit of gravity in a straddle position there. And we can continue to breathe ever more deeply, exploring whatever it is that feels good to you in this moment in your inverted state. So I'm going to invite us to remain with the prop under the pelvis a little longer. Allow the knees to kind of drop in towards the body if that feels good to you. And consider one option, which would be holding the right knee and releasing the left leg long and heavy. Another option would be placing the left foot flat and crossing the right ankle over the left knee and just letting the right knee fall open. So see what might feel better to you. One might be a little more intense than the other, and we'll access the right hip slightly differently. But just be curious and see what feels like your hip wants to explore right now, just intuitively. Holding the right knee and letting the left leg drop long and heavy, or solo the left foot flat, knee bent, right ankle resting upon left knee with the right knee falling open. So of course, both of those poses have a different access when the pelvis is propped. Even if it's a subtle lift of the pelvis, you're probably going to feel some differences in the way that you're accessing your hips here. So stay curious, take a little bit more time moving into that right hip. Breathing deeply, staying focused on the sensations in the hip and the way that you might take advantage even more of gravity so that you're using even less muscular tension. Where can you let go even more muscular tension in this moment? Let's transition towards the other hip. So take your time now, coming through whatever variation of stretch that you're exploring in that right hip now, and allow for a transition into the left hip. Take your time, move slowly. Maybe it makes sense to readjust what's under the pelvis or how it's propped. Feel free to make adjustments along the way, of course, honoring your body wisdom. Maybe the left knee is being held and the right leg is long and heavy now. Maybe you prefer to work with that ankle to knee pose, or maybe you'll work with both of them. Honoring exactly what feels just right to you in your left hip in this moment. Take a moment to check in with your neck. Notice if you turn your head from side to side, where neutral is in the neck. Notice the shoulders. Continuing to stay present with whatever it is that your body is being drawn to explore here with the left hip, any variation, apanasana or ankle to knee. And eventually, as it feels like a natural transition for you, place both feet flat on the floor. Take time to activate down into the earth and lift the pelvis off of your prop by activating into fingers and toes. Removing your prop, you might choose to explore another breath or two in your bridge pose. Big toes pressing, index fingers pressing, shoulders away from ears, neck is neutral, pelvis is high, legs are active. Rolling down and into a happy baby as it feels right to you. The knees draw in and the ankles float up. I like to keep my elbows on the mat, my hands resting behind the calf muscles, avoiding unnecessary strain in my shoulders and my neck. Some of us are comfortable reaching their hands up to ankles or toes, taking whatever bind makes sense to you in this moment. Breathing deeply here. Continuing to observe that ebb and flow of your breath. Invite subtle movements here if you haven't already. Allow for a gentle rock or extensions of the legs. And continue to relax in the hips. We're going to transition slowly, placing the soles of the feet together as they rest at the floor, placing a prop underneath each knee. So blocks or pillows underneath the knees, and we rest the arms open now, allowing the arms to fall open at our sides, perhaps at shoulder height. Let's allow for access to the shoulders by resting the arms fully open. Give the head permission to drop. Allow the neck to be completely neutral. If you feel that you must support the neck, do so minimally under the cervical spine itself rather than the head. Allow for the head and neck to find as much sense of neutrality and weight as possible. Dropping the arms, dropping the shoulders, dropping the skull, dropping the legs. Deep oceanic breathing. Feeling the weight of the arm bones resting at your side. Feeling the leg bones dropping into their support. Feeling the weight of the feet resting heavily towards the earth. Once again, let's invite the exhale to fall from the mouth. Deeply breathing in through the nose and fully exhaling through the mouth. When it feels right to you, slowly activate through your feet down towards the floor. As you push into the floor with your feet, bring the knees together. Guide the knees apart together and the feet apart now. And begin to shift toward our windshield wiper motion when you're ready. Moving slowly now. Soles of the feet separated, knees dropping gradually from side to side. Opening the leg bones away from each other on the in breath, and on the out breath, the pelvis pulls the second leg over. Inhaling, the first knee falls away, the pelvis rocks. Exhaling, the second knee comes round. Breathing deeply, notice your arms. Is it possible to allow the arms to fall even further away from the body and even more heavily toward the earth? Breathing the leg bones from side to side. Inhaling as the legs fall open and exhaling as they fall to the side. Let's allow the legs to fall towards that left side. So we're feeling quite a bit of stretch across the front of the right hip and quadricep. Consider sweeping the right arm out and up a little higher so that you're reaching the right fingertips as far away from the right knee as possible. The right arm is extended and heavy against the earth. Maybe it's resting on a prop. Allow that right shoulder to relax, that right arm to stretch out, and allow for a sense of breath from the right fingertips to the right knee. Breathing deeply here. Listening to your body wisdom, inhaling and then exhaling to pull belly button towards spine. Start to rock and roll over to the other side, slowly transitioning, shifting the arms now as the left knee falls towards the midline, the left arm falls up and away. Breathing deeply from the left toes or the left knee to the left fingertips. The gaze might rotate even towards the left armpit so we can feel a subtle spiral through the spine. Breathing deeply here. Letting go of muscular tension with each exhale. Taking your time now. Once again, transitioning, exhaling to contract belly button to spine for a slow release. Gather the knees in towards your chest and hold them gently. Breathing deeply into the low back and taking some time to just feel a sense of neutrality return to the spine, filling the pelvic bowl with your breath. Crossing the right ankle to the left knee when that feels like the right thing to do. Take a few breaths here in any variation of ankle to knee that works for you and your body. And allow the right knee to cross the left knee when you're ready, transitioning towards a final twist. The right knee crosses the left knee. The pelvis shifts towards the right, and the knees fall to the left as the right hip stacks up and over the left. Dropping into the spinal twist, supporting the right knee and supporting the right elbow. Deep oceanic breathing here. On an exhale, curling back in towards neutral, hugging knees in towards the chest. Releasing the sole of the right foot and crossing left ankle to right knee. Moving into the left hip, taking your time. Inviting the least amount of muscular tension, allowing for the shoulders to relax away from the ears. Taking advantage of gravity. Honoring when the body wants to release the breath from the mouth. Deep oceanic breathing. And when it feels organic, that left knee crosses the right knee. We transition to our twist with care. The hips shift towards the left, the knees shift towards the right. That left hip stacks up and over the right hip, and we stabilize as we surrender. Resting our bones to Mother Earth's welcoming arms. Resting muscular tension with each exhale. Once again, allowing for a slow and gradual organic transition. When you feel complete in your twist, exhale to melt back toward neutrality, curling the knees in towards the chest, sliding fingers under the knee joints, and with an inhale, filling the backside of the body with your breath, and an exhale, guiding the nose towards the knee, the belly button towards the spine. Inhaling, relaxing against the mat, and exhaling, curling nose to knees. One more time, relaxing against the mat on an in-breath, and exhaling, curling nose to knees. Releasing here, turning the head gently from side to side. Taking a moment to just be present in the body, listening to the messages from within. Allowing for any transition now toward a pose of Shavasana that feels most genuine and organic for you. Don't think too much, just allow. Maybe the body just simply puddles out and you've arrived. Maybe there's a little more machination to support under knees. Allowing here for just a moment of transition, seeking the most neutral state possible, supported, aligned, and present in this body, in this breath, in this moment. deepening the breath. Of course, if you have the time and space in your day to remain in Shavasana, you're welcome to do so. Maybe you're feeling ready to transition, in which case you might gently reanimate in fingers and toes and allow for a slow, mindful gathering of your bones. We can bring our palms together and just pause for a moment in gratitude for our own inner wisdom and its guidance to this very point in time and space. In gratitude for one another and the sweetness of our shared practice, and in gratitude for the practice itself. This ancient wisdom having trickled down to our now moment, offering us this ease and guidance. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.